let me ask all of you if you can please log into the V2 Cloud, and then from there, log into the IBM Enterprise Systems. And I'll share my screen so that everybody can also follow along. So when you first log into gtc.onelogin.com, and that's where you can click on the V2 Cloud. And remember that when you are inside the V2 Cloud, Access Client Solutions icon, which in short is called ACS. That's where you double click.
Sorry, ACS Session Manager or ACS Client Solution?
The Access Client Solutions, not the Session Manager.
Thank you.
So Aiden has joined us. Welcome, Aiden. So Aiden, we are simply in the process of logging into the V2 Cloud and then opening the Access Client Solutions on the V2 Cloud. And once you guys are inside the IBM I Access Client Solutions, you simply click on 5250 Emulator. And then you log in with your IBM username and password, not the Blackboard one. The IBM username is the one that starts as ITPA and your 3 digits, that one. First of all, the emulator will authenticate you, and then the system will authenticate you and will give you access to the system.
Sorry, I'm having an informational message. You must select or create a system configuration to use 5250 emulator.
Okay, so you probably, and who is this?
Chris?
Oh, Chris, okay. Chris, so when you are in the ACS, look at my screen, okay? Do you see the system colon in the top left corner? What does it say is right next to it? Right where my mouse is moving right now on my screen.
General?
Okay, now, no, next to system colon in the drop-down box.
Oh,
what is it?
System. Oh, yeah, there we go, Death Star.
Yeah, so you have to choose Death Star, and now you click on 5250 Emulator.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem.
I am also confused on where I'm going right now on this.
Okay, so how far are you in the process? That will help me direct you better.
Oh, sorry, I'm in the IBM Access Client Solutions, but I'm not where you were at right there. It just opened up folders for me.
Okay, so
Like
you
the
can,
files.
yeah, can you see this screen, the one that is currently showing on my screen? Right.
No, that's not the screen I see.
Okay, did you open maybe ACS Session Manager versus ACS Solutions?
1 second, let me go back.
Yeah. Oh,
Real quick, can I double check something? My username is 578, right?
let's double check. You are 587.
Ah, that's what I'm having problem.
Which one is mine again?
Who is this?
Aiden? All at the top?
Oh, Aiden. Okay, 568.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
I wasn't here for the last class, so this is Angelica. I'm not sure what mine is.
Oh, okay, Angelica. Okay, 582. Who else was not here last week? Can you please give me a little green check? Who else was not here besides Angelica? Harvey was not here. Okay, so Harvey, you let me tell you your ID also, and then let me walk you guys through the process. And Harvey is 581. Okay, make a note of your username, and your initial password is new pass, which you would have to change when you first log in. So let me stop sharing my screen. Harvey, did you make a note of yours now? Oh, okay. And Felton Bryan was also not here.
Correct. I got mine 571.
571. Okay, and also make a note of your password, new pass. Okay. Now let me stop sharing, and can one of you share your screen, so I will walk one of you through and the others can follow. Okay. So
Who's gonna share?
any one of you can, okay,
I submitted mine.
you submitted yours? What do you mean?
Or I mean, like I shared my screen.
Oh, okay.
So I had signed in with the new pass and then my ID, and
Can
now
you
I just have
guys-
to create a new password.
Just 1 second. Can you guys see her screen?
No.
No, we
I don't
can't.
see it.
No.
Let me try again.
I don't see it either.
Oh, okay.
Here you go. It's loading now. Okay, cool. So this is okay, go ahead and hit cancel for now. Hit cancel. So let's start a little bit earlier than this step. Close this window. Okay. Now, don't even click on 5250 emulator yet. Okay. So let me ask a couple questions to Mr. Felton and Harvier. Stay on that screen, please.
Oh, sorry.
Angelica. Okay. So both of you, what do you see in the top left corner under the welcome next to system : what do you guys see? Felton and
I don't
Harvey.
even have.
Say it again.
I don't even have this screen up. I have.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
mine. I have the IBM Access Client Solutions on the left there,
Mhm.
and I click on that, and it just goes to like the files folder where it shows my computer, desktop, and.
Okay. Angelica, can you stop sharing? Let Mr. Felton share. Okay. You need to close that. That's a folder. You need to close that. Yeah. No, don't click on the folder. There's an icon called Access Client Solutions under the recycle bin. That's the guy to go for. Just give it a few seconds for it to pop up. Okay. And Javier, are you good? Did you find the icon?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you double click, this window will open. So Javier, are you here this far?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now what you should do is you need to first set up the server. So right at the bottom, at the very bottom, do you see management, right? And then click on system configurations under management. Then click on new. In the system name, type deathstar.gtc.edu. deathstar.gtc.edu. Then click OK. Just click OK and then hit close. Javier, are you all caught up this far?
Yep.
Okay. Now go ahead and click on 5250 emulator. This is where you enter the ITPA, whatever your 3 digits are.
Okay.
And then in the password, you type new pass. And Angelica, you can also follow along till this step. And then click OK. And say yes.
Huh?
What? Did I surprise somebody? Okay. So now in the old password, type new pass.
Okay.
And in the new password, you type a new password, which I will share with you a couple of rules to keep in mind, is that your password should have a single digit, no 2 digits are allowed, only a single digit. And no, do not put the 2 same letters next to each other. And then when you click OK, it gives you the sign on screen. Now this is where you enter the ITPA and your 3 digits. And after that, press a tab on the keyboard. And then enter that new password and then hit enter. Cool. So this is your initial program load, and then you hit enter again. And that's your main menu. Okay. Let me double check with Javier and Angelica. How are you guys doing?
I'm good.
Angelica is also good. Okay. So you can stop sharing. Thank you for sharing. Let me share now. So everybody has made their way this far. So if you can all give me a green check for those of you who have made it this far. Still waiting from Jared and Sam.
Oh, sorry. No, I've been done.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, I was looking for the yes.
That's fine. Okay. Now on the Zoom, where you see the gallery, everybody can see their names or their video, whatever that is, right? For those of you who only have their name displaying, and you cannot share your camera, hover over your name and click the 3 dots next to ask to unmute. And what do you see? Do you see as any one of the options that says to come up with your profile picture, edit your profile picture? Okay. Now put something there.
I have a new computer, so I don't have any pictures on there.
I also don't see the option to do that.
So you don't see any option
Same.
next to mute? There are three dots when you hover over your.
I see the three dots,
that,
but
it's
in
just
the
nothing.
drop down, there's
Oh,
nothing.
you guys don't have the edit profile picture option?
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we may have to dig for that so that, you know, at least,
Me neither.
okay. Okay, we need to figure something out. That's, how did those guys, like, for example, Sam, how did you get yours going?
Most likely created a profile user.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's how I got mine. I had to like go through Zoom. I think Gateway like allows you to use like a temporary like Zoom profile that saves a few settings, but unless you have
Oh.
like an actual created profile with Zoom, I'm not sure that you can create.
Ah, I see.
I
Okay.
think, could be wrong. It's been a while since I've done it.
Okay, okay. No, it happened to me so that in COVID, I've had these new students that came in and graduated, and I've never seen any one of them, like most of them, 99% of them, I don't even know how they look like. All I remember is their name. That's all, on a black box. If I ever run into any one of them, like, you taught me, I'm like, when? During COVID? I don't remember seeing you. So anyways, I just wanted to, you know, I mean, no, at least because some of you may be taking classes on Zoom only, because you have an option. If you have taking evening classes in software development, all the evening classes will be Zoom only all the way through. And all the day classes are in person only. So, you know, that you have an option on that one.
To be
Okay.
fair, I did try to start video. It just says I don't have a camera, even though I have a camera. So I don't know.
Oh, then probably
I just don't have a camera.
it's like probably some configuration issue.
I've checked so many different configurations. I have no idea why it's not detecting my laptop camera.
Sometimes it does that. For example, the other day I was teaching my advanced Java course and students were saying, oh, all of a sudden it sounded like you're underwater. I said, no, everything is fine. I have this very nice HyperX microphone, you know, I've mounted it. It's awesome. There's a no. And after like an hour or so into the classroom, I'm like, maybe it's Zoom. I turn off the camera, I turn off this, turn off that. It's like it automatically switched my microphone from my HyperX to my webcam microphone right in the middle of the class. So like,
Yeah, it did that to me when I was recording a video with my friend once.
For
crazy.
things like that, I usually just go into the sound settings and disable microphones or speakers that I will never use. That way it'll never default to them.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I should probably do that. Absolutely. So we are now all looking at the green screen. Let's overview some of the stuff that we went over last time. One of you made a post in the assignment number 1, even though they completed the assignment. I really like the note. It said, even though I completed it, I'm still a little lost.
Yeah.
So we talked about in the assignment 1, the 4 screen types. The 4 screen types, one of them is the menu screen. Okay, the menu screen has 4 things on it that can tell you it's a menu screen. Number 1, right at the top, it has a header. Then it has list of options. You can choose one from the list. And then it has the function keys at the bottom. Those are the 4 things a menu will always have. Okay. Now, for example, if I go to by choosing option number 5 from here, now that's another menu I'm looking at. It has a menu ID, it has a description, system name, list of items. I could put in a number and the function keys at the bottom. So that's how a typical menu will look like. It will always be of this form. Okay. Now let's come out of here. The other place where we went last week was a prompt screen. In order for you to work with a prompt screen, first of all, you need to type some kind of a command. Once you type a command, then you can press function key F4. Now, for those of you who have laptops, your F4 can only be pressed if you make a combination with FN. FN F4 will be an F4. If you just directly press an F4, it may work like maybe changing screen brightness. I don't know. Okay. So based on how your keyboard is set up, pressing F4 will bring a prompt screen. A prompt screen will always have this form where you will see a bunch of items on the left, and then you'll have fill in the blank like a stuff where you can type in the middle, and then you'll have some options to choose from or look on the right-hand side. It does not has any system name, no ID, no choice list, no command prompt, nothing. That's all it has. On this screen, we also revisited the idea that the names of objects, libraries and object, can only be up till 10 characters long. It wouldn't allow for any object name to be more than 10. So the length of this line is 10. Okay. Now, we're not doing it. I'm just showing you. Now, what is the significance of anything that starts with an asterisk? It's a system value. That means this word has a special meaning in this language. That's why it starts with an asterisk. Okay. Next thing. If you want to write any description, you can just leave it like this, like blank. Okay. Or you can write a description in single quotes, which could be multi-word. But that is just a little description if you want to add one to your. Okay. If you're unsure about any place and you want to get more information, for example, in the name area, I will press F1, which will bring help. This is another kind of screen, the third kind of screen. This help tells me a little bit about this area. If I want to learn more, I'll press F2. That opens up an extended help. I can page down and go through the details. Okay. Now, the good thing about this is that as I start scrolling down, somewhere down below in the extended help, IBM always has examples. Like here, it has an example that to create a library, you need a library name and some kind of a text, and it will automatically default to production. If you do not want it to be a production library, then you can type test. You know, some basic information, some basic. Now, if I want to go back, to the previous screen, then I can press F12. And I'm still in help. I just moved from one help screen to the other help screen. If I want to revisit, I can press F2 and I can continue with my help. If I want to completely close down help, I press F3. Okay, so that's another thing we looked at last time. So F3 is a close, F12 is a cancel, F1 is the help, F2 is the extended help, F4 is the prompt. Okay, now, something I have for you in the chat, okay? Now, this is something that you all will participate in the chat, okay? Now you write your answers. Even if somebody writes their answer, you don't stop yours. Just write one long answer and then hit submit. Harvier F12 is cancel. Okay. Okay. Now that I would like to get out of this, I will press F3 and that will take me out of the screen and will take me back to the main menu. If I want to see the same command without having to retype it, what function key should I press?
F9.
F9. Okay, so that brings the previously typed command. Okay, so far, how many screens have we seen? 3 of them. We have seen menu, we have seen help, and we have seen prompt. Okay, now we'll type another command here. Everybody should type this command. DSP LIBL. DSP-LIBL. Display library list. That's what it stands for. Okay. So today we will be learning about the structure of these commands. So when you type display library list, it's a complete command. It takes no parameters. So press enter. So you'll not need to press F4. Just press enter. Now, this is a different kind of a screen. It's not a menu because you don't see a list of items with numbers. You do not see a prompt. You cannot fill in the blanks. You don't see a command prompt at the bottom. You don't see the help. This is your list with screen. This is where you have a bunch of items where each item you can put in an option, whatever gets displayed at the top. In this case, we only have one option. So let's say if I want to look inside my current library, which is for you, it should be ITPA and your 3 digits. To the left of that, you push option 5 and hit enter. And that will take you inside the library. Once you are inside the library, then you will see that you can see object in one column and type in another, attribute in another, and size and text and so on and so forth. I have a lot more objects than you do, so that don't worry about that. Well, the bottom line is that you have another list screen where you have options listed with options to choose from the top. Okay.
I got out of that by accident.
Say it again.
I got out by accident. What? How do you get back in there?
Oh, okay. We type DSP LIBL, display library list.
And then you said hit 5?
No, just hit enter.
Yeah, I did that. So now I'm back to the previous screen that you guys.
And then you choose the library that reads ITPA and your 3 digits. To the left of that on the dash, you push number 5 and hit enter.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm lost too.
Okay, where are you? Which screen are you looking at right now?
I am going back to the original screen.
Are you on the main menu?
Yes.
Okay, now over here at the command prompt, type DSP-LIBL, display library list, and hit enter.
All right, that's where I messed up.
And when you press enter, you see your library list. And in that library list, you go down to the one that is your current library. It should say CUR under type, and you push option 5 next to that item and hit enter. And here you go. You should be able to see your objects. Okay. And again, objects are classified by type. And these object types determine what commands can be used in the object. And that's where chapter 3 started last week. As we started out that what is the purpose of an object type? And that's what, after that, we looked at the layered architecture of the operating system. Okay. Cornelius, did you log in last time, or is this the first time you're logging in?
I logged in last time. I'm just
Okay.
typing in my password and stuff.
Cool. So log in the same way to the green screen as you did last time. And when you log in, you will be right at the main menu after you successfully log in. And remember that for the IBM login, you need the ITPA and your 3 digits username, and the password that you said last time is the username and password you got to use. Okay, so 4 screen types that we learn about in chapter number 1. We have menu, we have prompt, we have help, and we have the list with screens. Any question about this stuff? So the whole idea was to show you the screens rather than remembering the commands and how you got there. Don't worry about that. It's just like I want to show you all 4 variations of the screens that are part of chapter 1. Okay. Now let's go to chapter 2. In chapter 2, we talked about layered architecture. Who is at the top of the layer, closest to the user?
IBM iOS
Very good. Right at the bottom,
64-bit RISC something.
your RISC hardware. Okay, now right above the RISC hardware is your
Hypervisor.
hypervisor. Very good. What's the whole purpose of the hypervisor?
It has the initialization, configuration, and I forgot what the other one was too.
And the whole job in GIST is to make sure multiple operating systems can run unaware of the underlying hardware, and multiple operating systems running simultaneously on this machine includes IBM iOS and which 2 other operating systems?
Linux,
Uh-huh.
AIX.
AIX. Okay, all of this information is in the first 4 pages of chapter number 3, which is in unit number 2. Okay, so layered architecture is right on the first page into the chapter 3, where it talks about that you have an operating system, and underneath that you have your TIMI layer, underneath that you have your SLIC layer, underneath that you have your power hypervisor, underneath that you have your RISC hardware. So those are the layers that it talks about. Okay, the whole job and the purpose of the operating system is to take your information and pass it over. But where it passes it over, it's not a direct access to the underlying hardware. So there are 2 layers that are specially designed for the IBM iOS, and those 2 layers are SLIC and TIMI layer. First TIMI layer and then SLIC. SLIC layer has the internal codes, and the internal codes will make it easy for the information to be translated to the lower layer, which is hypervisor, which then communicates that information over to the hardware. Now the hardware has a massive storage. It's called a single storage. Okay, the single storage is accessible by everybody, but everybody in the above layers are unaware of that. They're not aware that how things get stored behind the scenes. Okay, so that's one thing to keep in mind, that how things get stored behind the scene. So when you're coming down from the top, right at the top level, user interacts with what? An object. Okay, where are these objects placed?
Libraries?
In library. Very good. Okay, again, I'm in the first 4 or 5 pages of chapter 3 right now. Okay, so this is an object-based operating system. Objects are placed in a library. Are they physically there?
No.
No, they're not physically there. Okay, now when they're not physically there, so how does library knows about the objects? What information does it holds? The information is there in the book.
Is it the name and data type?
Nope. On page 84, there are two paragraphs above types of IBMI objects. Start reading the paragraph that starts with the words, because programs do not deal directly with hardware. Read that paragraph on page 84.
Well, I'd love to, but on Kindle, page 84 does me no good.
Oh, okay. So on Kindle, you go into the chapter. The first main topic is IBMI object architecture. The second main topic is types of IBMI objects. So it is right before the types of IBMI objects. It's 2 paragraphs above that.
Is it the single level storage?
Keep reading, keep reading. Read the whole paragraph.
What's your question again?
For now, I just am asking everybody to read the paragraph. Then I'll repeat my question.
Okay.
It won't let me sign in. It said I reached my session limit.
How many windows are open at the bottom?
Two.
What are those 2 windows? If they're the same, then close one of them.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so now I will repeat my question. Question number 1. When the object is created, where is it placed? You guys were said in a library, okay? So when an object is created, where are they physically placed? Physically.
Nowhere.
In the virtual address?
No, physically they're placed on a single level storage. That's what it says. They are written to this single level storage. You find that line in the book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And are assigned a permanent virtual address, means they're also assigned an address which is not the same as their physical location, Okay, it's virtual, only to be used by the operating system to help it locate. And it's permanent, means in the lifetime of that operating system, no other object will ever get that address. So it's permanent, yet it is not physical. It's virtual. Why? Because the operating system doesn't know exactly how it gets stored on the actual physical machine. So operating system will only know the virtual address, which it will pass over to the TIMI layer and the SLIC layer, which they will pass it over to the hypervisor, and then they will figure out, okay, physically, this is where it's located. So the top layers are unaware of the physical location. Okay, now, okay, let's keep reading. This address is placed in a pointer. What is a pointer? A pointer is something that points towards a memory location, okay? So this address is placed in a pointer, which is managed by the library in which the object resides. So what exactly does the library has? For each and every object that it is in a library, it has a pointer for each object as to what is the permanent virtual address of that object. Library stores only that much information. Okay, now physically to us, it may seem like that this is an object sitting inside a library, but logical is basically how it is sitting. It's not sitting physically there. It's just logically there. Okay, the virtual storage address will not be reused during the lifetime of the system. Even after the object has been deleted, even after the object is not there anymore, it still just never ever uses that permanent address ever again. Okay, an address translation algorithm at the microcode level provides efficient direct addressing of the object in real memory. Real memory management, both main and secondary, becomes a function of the internal code, which is 2 layers down from the operating system. If you are going back to page 82, right at the beginning of the chapter, it shows you in figure 3.2.
SLIC.
In figure 3.2, SLIC. Very good. Yeah, the SLIC is responsible for the internal code stuff and not of the applications. So among other advantages, this design lets different jobs share the same object concurrently because they are not accessing its direct physical location. It's all up in the air. So if you are accessing in a physical location, then it's a lock, because if one object is writing, the others have to wait, but you're not reading and writing physical. You only have access to virtual. So to you, many people can access the same resource, but to the operating system, that internal codes figure out how to line them up, how to queue them up, how to share the resources between them. That's not my headache. That's not operating system's headache. That's the underlying machine's headache. So that's a little bit different in terms of how things gets managed. Any questions? Okay, so objects, as I told you, are identified by object types. And these object types will determine what commands will work on these objects and what commands will not work on these objects. Other than object types, objects also have other properties, which are called attributes. One of the attribute is the file extension. Does anybody remember what is the official IBM iOS name for file extension? Official IBM iOS name for file extension.
Is that data type?
Close. It has the word type in the name, but the first word is not data.
Is it the star or the Q?
No, no.
File
Okay,
type?
no. The answer is in table 3.1 on page 85.
The object type.
Keep going.
Subject.
Subtype. Look at the third column's heading. Attribute, in parentheses, subtype, okay? So if you come down in the list, not all objects will have subtypes, but those that do, for example, if I'm dealing with a file, the file could be of any kind. It could be a printer file, it could be a display file, it could be a logical file, it could be a physical file. So those will be considered as subtyped. Keep coming down the list. Where you see object type PGM, it's a program. And look at the last column, source language, COBOL, CLP, RPG. That is usually you put those file extensions in Windows world, but in the IBM world, they are called subtypes. Okay, so if let's say an IBMer comes to me and says, you know, I have this object, okay, I created an object, I'm trying to run this command on it. And my first question will be, okay, what's the object type? And they'll be like, oh, it's a program object. And I'll be like, okay, what's the subtype? So they'll be, oh, this is an RPG program. Oh, okay. You know, so RPG program would just go down as a subtype and program will be the program. So anyway, there are two ways you can locate an object on this operating system. What are those two ways to locate an object on this operating system?
Qualified search.
Qualified search is one of them. Very good.
Unqualified search.
Unqualified search, which is also called simple object name search. Okay, that's page number 86 and 87, which would be where you have figure 3.3. Okay, so when you are doing a search and it's an unqualified search, it starts listing, going through your entire library list. Okay, and then it starts looking for the object. Then when it finds the object by name, it checks the object type. Then it matches to see if this object type will work with the command or not. So it just goes through all of that stuff, okay? Now, in this whole process, anytime it hits the correct library name, if it's in your library list, it knows that you have access to it. But if it's not in your library list and you did a qualified search, and if the library is found, it will first check to see if you have authority on the library or not. Are you authorized to use the library or not? If you do, then it will try to match the object name. If the object name matches, it will try to then match the object type to see if the object type will work with this command. If it finds that it will work, it will then check to see if you have this command's access on this object. Once it checks all of that stuff, only then you can use the object. Similarly, when you're trying to store stuff, exactly the same way. If you provide a library name and you're storing things, it knows where to go and place it, but it will check the permission if you have even right of access to this library. If you're trying to store it using a simple object name and you do not provide a library, it will go into your current library. And everybody has a current library. Okay, so I want you to look at page 97 or figure 3.14. Is it easier to locate by figure numbers in Kindle? I don't know. I've never had a Kindle.
Oh, I have the app for it and it's awful.
Yeah. So is it like, can you locate it a little bit quicker with figure numbers?
You know what? I'm gonna try and do a search for figure numbers to see if I can find it. Which one? What figure was it?
It is 3.14.
Bye.
And once you are there, I want you to just go over this flowchart diagram again, okay?
It does
And,
help, by the way.
and remember, Wendy, I don't know, whoever is teaching your intro to programming class.
Did you say that figure 3.14 was on 94?
97.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense.
It's not, oh, never mind it.
Well, I'm glad you're dealing with this because I was having trouble making it fit on my screen correctly. Every time I put a new one, it was getting smaller and smaller on my screen. And I couldn't figure out how to make it look like this right here.
Excuse me?
The flowchart.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Every time I added a new part to it, it got smaller, and then I was trying to make it bigger, and
Oh, yeah. It does that because it tries to fit everything in that limited space.
right.
Mm.
And then the arrows was going all over the place, and I don't know if what she gave me. It is when Wendy is my teacher, and she also said if I have any question on C#, to ask you, because I have trouble with that too.
Yeah, I mean, I use Gillette for C#.
Yeah, we were trying to write a code, and I kept getting these little red things, and it said you could just click on it and it'll tell you what to do. But every time I click that, it turns into another thing. And so at the end of this class, can you give me 2 minutes and
Yeah.
so I can show you something?
Yeah. Now I was just basically telling you that what I use for C#. I use this for C#. It's really sharp. 5 clicks.
That's a program?
Oh, it can be programmed.
Dude,
But you
programming
don't want it to be
humor is so
programmed.
good.
If you look it up on YouTube, I guarantee you'll find it.
Somebody
Yeah.
sitting in mom's basement would have figured it out. Nothing to do. Let's program Gillette.
That's funny. I told her you was funny because she asked me who's my teacher.
Okay. So yeah. So flowcharts can be drawn in many tools. Which tool are you guys using? PowerPoint, Word?
I'm using it. I'm using Word.
Okay.
She didn't specify anyone.
Okay, that's fine. No problem. Yeah.
I use LibreOffice because I can't stand Word's business model anymore.
Yeah, that's another one. And some people use OpenOffice. Some people use Google Docs. They also have flowcharts.
What's the one? Somebody mentioned another one. It was called like Visio or something like that.
Visio, right. Visio is specially designed as a modeling tool from Microsoft. It is meant to do modeling, and that's one of the modeling, which is flowchart.
I didn't see it. Is it like an app or is it just like a website I can go to?
It's probably an add-on to the Microsoft Office suite, but I don't think so. It comes bundled by default.
You'll have to go into the Office 365 and download it.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Or add it to your other ones.
LibreOffice can just have it all together at once in one program.
Is that an IBM product?
I don't know.
No,
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's like a freeware thing. It's basically someone who got really sick of Word and adding subscriptions and having everything be separate programs, and they decided to just make their own version of Word.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, yeah, IBM's is Symphony. IBM's is Symphony. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, like whatever works for you, works for you. That's about it. Okay. Anyway, so that's how it goes about locating an object. As you're reading through this flow chart, you will see that it has several checks through the process. So was it easier to search on Kindle with bigger numbers?
It's a lot easier to just use figure numbers.
Okay,
Because for me, it's on page 150.
Zagoom. Oh, I did not know my mic was on.
you know, I got something for you. So yeah, that's where your books go, and then they go there.
My girlfriend will call that blasphemy.
Oh my God. Anyway,
Break
Okay.
for mango.
so let's go to figure 3.16 on page 100. This is the flow chart to show you how you store an object. So read through this flow chart. Page 100, figure 3.16. Any questions about this flow chart? Can you follow through this flow chart process as to how it stores?
It's pretty straightforward.
Okay,
I don't know
cool.
what QGPL is.
QGPL, the letter Q means anything that starts with letter Q means it's a system supplied object.
Oh, right. So it'd be
Okay.
the
And
Q and then general purpose library, right?
exactly. So if you do not have any current library, then system steps in and says, this is the library, then I'll put it in. But usually people do have a current library. Okay, in chapter 1, we also learned that whenever you submit something to the system, it is called a unit of work. What is the name for that definition?
Job.
Job, okay. Which are divided into how many types?
Two.
2 types, which are?
Interactive and batch.
Very good, okay. Now let's look at page 101, figure 3.17. A job is submitted as a batch job by a user. That means the user doesn't have to be present when the job runs. System places job on a batch job queue. So there's a line where jobs are getting submitted. This job is scheduled into the correct batch subsystem. So remember, subsystem is the environment within a system where jobs run. Okay, then what happens? As the program runs, the program opens a spool file in the assigned output queue. What is the purpose of a spool file? Well, usually when programs run, they produce outputs. So spool file is the staging area for the outputs of the program. So if you ran any program in Wendy's class and something was getting displayed on the screen, that was actually being held in the memory, in the RAM. When you close the program, the RAM was flushed out. That's not the case over here in this operating system. When you create a program and it runs and it produces an output, that output goes in a spool file as a staging area. You have to go to that staging area and manually check each staging area and open it up and see, oh, that's how my output looks like. Oh, that's how my variable have values in them. You know, you do not have Visual Studio like display in a text box. You do not have, did you write any console application in Visual Studio yet? Okay, so you do not have an equivalent of system.console.writeLine kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
So basically it puts everything in a spool file, all the output, if it is actually stored as an object and is held inside a special staging area. And what is that? The next point. The spool file remains in the output queue unless the queue is assigned to a printer. So you have one choice of going there and say, okay, give this spool file to the printer and physically print it or delete it, okay? If the print writer, now that's a special program. Print writer is a program to which the system will give your spool file. So if the print writer for the output queue is started, the job prints when printer is idle. So when printer becomes free, it just prints the job. Okay, now go over these steps again, the 4 bullet points, and let me know if you have any questions. After that, go to page number 102 and look at figure 3.18. That shows you the whole process. Page 102, figure 3.18. After that, move on to figure 3.19 on page 104. This is very similar to, let me run the same command, work out queue, just to show you guys that it actually tells me the names of my queues, the names of my libraries, and the status of them. So I can just go down to a particular queue and say, okay, I want to work with it. So I choose option number 5 and hit enter, okay? Now this particular one doesn't have any spool files in it. It's an empty one, okay? So whoever was using it, they cleared all the spool files and they released them. Otherwise, sometimes students have like 100 spool files sitting there and they never clean their spool files, okay? Now, so just wanted to show you that. So right here on page 104, figure 3.19, that's where it shows you that you have a release at the bottom of figure 3.19, that in the status column, you see ready, open, and sometimes you will see the status release, which means that if the queue is assigned to a printer, the printer is started and set to the correct form type. The files will print as they go to the ready status. Output queues can also have a status of held to prevent the indiscriminate printing of files. Notice that some of the files in the preceding screen are in the ready status and some are in the open status. Open status tells us that the program that is creating the print file is still running and has the file open. Now, for example, if I want to see my spool files, so go ahead and on your screens, you type on your prompts, type WRK for work, SPL for spool, and F for file, work spool file. Type that command and hit enter. WRK SPLF. Okay, now I get my spool files. Do you guys have anything there? No. Right? Well, you guys don't have anything there, correct? It's empty.
No.
No, right? Because you have not yet done any work that will submit it as a spool file. So let's say if I have these spool files and they're in the ready status, I can go to one of these spool files and I said, okay, let me have a look inside. So I just go to option 5. By the way, what time? No, you
Hold
don't
on one
have
second.
you don't have to
Just
yeah, go
no,
ahead.
no, I understand that. I'm just that I got kicked to the system menu, right? And I went to log back in and now it's just giving me it just gives me like a tinkle bell whenever I try to type in my password.
Oh,
I
check,
must have,
okay, now check the bottom left corner of your screen. Do you see a red color
Yeah,
X? Right.
I do.
So press the control key on the keyboard and then
Okay.
X will disappear. So what happens is when you type in a spot that's outside of the prompt, the system takes the keyboard control away from you. Okay, so you resume it back by pressing the control key. Okay, so what kind of screen is this?
List.
List. Okay, now let's see if I want to peek inside that guy, which is Spring 22 Program 15. I use option number 5. Now I'm looking inside the spool file. So I'm looking inside my code. I'm looking at my variables, the references, the severity codes, if there was any errors, the whole 9 yards. I am looking at inside. If I don't need this particular object, I'll choose option 4. What does the option 4 do?
Deletes it.
Delete it. Okay, but it'll ask me, would you want to delete this? Yes, enter. It's gone. Okay, spool file is deleted. So typically what I ask students to do is when you're done, okay, you have enter 4 all the way through and hit enter, enter. Okay. So that's basically how you will delete your spool files. Anyway, any questions about what we have done so far?
I was logging back in, so I kind of missed some of that. I'm sorry.
What was the command line to get to the spool files?
Oh, okay, I'll show again. So I typed work, WRKSPLF, work spool file. Now you guys will have nothing in the work spool file. I do because I created several spool files. So I was just showing you guys how you can peek inside a spool file by typing number 5, and they'll open the spool file for you and you can peek inside it. And then to come out of it, it's F3. And to get rid of it, it's number 4. And if I have too many spool files, I can just put 4s next to them and enter, and they're gone. They're deleted. Once it's deleted, it's deleted. I cannot retrieve it. There is no recycle bin. So anyway, I was just showing that. I know you guys are not there yet, so you don't have it. So that's why I said I didn't ask you to do it. So F3 to come back to the main menu. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, just
No.
out of curiosity, is there a mass delete at all with this, or is it you gotta go like page by page?
On the green screen, no. On the GUI tools, yes. Yeah, because green screen is limited by a page size, so you can only do one page at a time. Any other question? Okay, so this was just the review of last 2 weeks. We just reviewed it because my Tuesday night class, one of the guys said, "Oh, why are you going into the 3rd chapter for tonight?" I said, "Because that was the review, which we did in the 1st half of the class. I still need to teach today's chapter." So he's like, "Oh, okay." To him, it sounded like he's hearing all this stuff for the first time. So anyway, the most funny question of the week is, somebody asked me when I was talking about chapter number 1 that, oh, chapter 2, I was telling everybody that in your command, you have 3 parts. The first part is always a verb. Okay, look at the commands we type. Work, spool file, first word is a verb. Display library list, the first word is a verb. Okay, so verb will always be there at the forefront of all the commands. And the next one, the next 3 letters is usually a subject, like spool file, or for example, display library. So library is a subject. Similarly, user profile, work user profile is a subject. So I said the first word will usually be verb and the second one will usually be noun. Okay, so you know what he said? Yeah. Okay, sure. So in chapter number 3, let's do this. Let's take a break till 7:35. And we will then start with chapter 2. Chapter 2 is very integrated in chapter 3. So as we do chapter 2, we'll also be doing hands-on. So when you come back from the break at 7:35, make sure that you're logged into the green screen. So we will do both things side by side. So I will see you guys at 7:35. I'll share my screen. So as we are going over chapter 2 PowerPoint. Okay, so this chapter pretty much focuses on CL commands. That's basically the main objective of this chapter, is to tell you how CL commands are built, how to read them, how to understand them. If I give you a command and you do not, if I give you a description and you do not know that there is a command for that description, you should be able to go and look for it. That kind of stuff we'll be learning in this chapter. So if I tell you, I want you to find me all the data commands. So how would you go into that is basically what we're looking for. Okay. Or if I want you to be able to give me a command that helped me create a user, then you should be able to search that command up. Without knowing the command, you can actually search the command. So mostly we'll be looking at that in this chapter. Then we'll be learning about when you enter a command, sometimes command needs extra information, which are called parameters. What are the different types of parameters and how you put them? So that's another aspect of this chapter. The other aspect of this chapter is that how do you go about creating a library? So we will actually create a library and then we will put it in our library list. We will change the order of the libraries in the library list. We will remove the library from the library list. All of those little operations with libraries, that's another focus for this chapter. So those are a few things that we will be looking at. As we look at, we will be practicing them side by side. So getting started with chapter number 2, page 44, and I'm straight away going to this diagram, which is under the control language syntax. All CL commands go like this: command, space, parameter, with the exception of few. command space parameter space parameter. Parameters can be required or optional. We did one command today where parameter was optional. What command was that? At least one command we did. We all did.
CRT LIB.
That had parameters. That's why we had to hit F4.
ESPLIBL.
Very good. DSPLIBL. All we did was we typed the command and hit enter. And that's all we did. We didn't enter any parameters. We didn't go to any prompt. Okay. Then there was one more command that I showed you. I think you also tried it besides that one.
The work spool file.
Very good. The work spool file. Marcelli, did the cat tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay. So work spool file. Two commands we did, no parameters. Okay. So there are some without parameters, there are some with parameters. So create library, CRT, LIB. It requires how many parameters?
2.
How did you figure that out?
You're holding up 2.
Oh,
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. So 2 parameters. Okay. What are they? They are the name of the library and the type of the library. Those are the required parameters, because the libraries could either be test or could be production. If you decide not to give the library type, it will default to production. Okay, so let's have a look at how the command names are structured. The command names are always such that the first 3 letters are a verb. The next part is a noun, okay? And the third part is called sort of kind of a modifier, which is a further explanation. It's a modifier. It's a further explanation if noun is not a good subject. So the combination of modifier and noun make it a good subject. For example, display library list. So the verb is display, DSP. Library is the noun, but that's not enough. So we have a modifier L for list. DSP, LIB, L. Sometimes nouns and modifiers are not 3 letters long. They could be only 1 letter long or 2 letters long. But verbs will always be 3 letters long, with the exception of 2. One exception is the go command, which is only 2 letters, go. That command is used only to call menus. We will work with that command, in fact. The second command is the call command. It's 4 letters, CALL. That is to run a program. Besides these 2 commands, all commands have 3-letter verbs right at their beginning, followed by a noun, followed by a modifier. Modifiers are not required.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, my internet just died. Could you just repeat that last thing you said?
Yes, I said that all commands start with a verb and they're 3-letter long, abbreviated, except for 2 commands which are not abbreviated and the verb is not 3 letters. One command is go, which is used with menus, and the other command is call, which is used with programs. So anytime you need to run a program, you call the program with the call command. It's pretty much like double-clicking an executable file on Windows. Okay, that's what call command does. So that's the basic rule. Now, if you look at table 2.1 on page 45, that's where it gives you a list of verbs. That's the first column. Okay, English equivalent of the verb, some examples, and the description. So take a few minutes to look at this list, page 45, table 2.1 or slide 9. Again, you do not need to memorize these, just get a know-how about the structure. And you will see the rules, same rules across the board, top to bottom. All commands, first three letters, verb. With the two exceptions, call and go. And call is actually in this list, but go is not, right? The other thing to keep in mind is, look at the third line, copy, file. File is only one letter, noun. So sometimes noun may be only one letter. Okay, come down to edit command, which is 6-7 lines down. Edit object authority. All three places are completely filled. 3 for verb, 3 for noun, 3 for modifier. Okay, now come 3 items down. Open. Open, OPEN, is shortened to OPN. Verb. Query, QRY, shortened, and only one letter for the modifier. So 7 letter long. So you see the same stuff getting repeated, the same idea. So there are over 2,000 commands. Nobody knows them by heart, and nobody expects anybody to know by heart. All you need to be able to do is be able to figure out if there is a command with that verb or a noun. That's all. And that's what we will learn. How do you go about doing that? So now turn to page 46. On page 46, it tells you right at the top that there are 2 commands which are considered exception: call and go. These are the exception to the rules. Call is to execute a program, and go is to display a menu. These are some of the letters to look for. D usually means description. E, entry. F, file or field, depending on where it is. L is for list, and Q is for queue. Now, out of these 5 letters, which one did we use before the break?
We used L.
We used L when we used the command DSP-LIBL. Display, library, list. Okay. Now, here are some more examples where the author is showing you that some nouns always need a modifier. Okay. And for example, message is a noun, right? But you also need to, what kind of message it is, and things of that nature. Okay. Some nouns always need a modifier. Example includes display, file, description, 2 letters, noun, and description is a modifier. Because that's a second word. It's not the same word. Okay. So display object, now that is a noun, and description, that's a modifier. Display file field description. So file is a subject and field description is the modifier, the last 2. So that way, okay? Some nouns and modifiers are the names of utilities. Utilities is like an application. Application programs are not considered to be screens. That's why applications, if you ever see a screen in the green screen that doesn't look like it's a menu, or it's a prompt, or it's a list, or it's help, it has to be a utility. It has to be an application or a program. That's the only explanation. Okay, now, so these are some of the utilities. If you want to start a utility, what do you think will be a short for the verb start?
STRT.
STR, 3 letters, remember? So look at slide 14 or at the bottom of page 46, STR. Anytime you want to start an application, which is called utility, by the way. So anytime you want to start a utility, you start with STR. So if I want to start a utility called SEU, so my command goes like this, STR SEU. If I want to start a utility called PDM, my command goes like this, STR PDM. And so on and so forth. Okay. So on the green screen, let's log in if we have been logged out. And I want you to try this command, str pdm, str pdm, Program Development Manager. And when you hit enter, it looks like a menu, right? Because it has options, but it's not a menu. How can you tell it's not a menu? Looks like a menu, sorry, but not a menu. How can you tell?
Doesn't have menu in the top left.
It doesn't have the menu ID in the top left, and it does not have the name of the system on the top right, where my mouse is moving, okay? So if I F3, see how the main menu is? It has an ID in the top left, and it has the name of the system in the top right, which PDM didn't. So it has to be a utility, because those are the only 4 types of screens. If it doesn't falls in any of the 4 types, it has to be a utility. Okay. And utility is like a program that gets installed on this operating system. Okay. Now, when you're entering a command, the parameters have to be in a certain sequence. That's important. So one way to get around that would be that I type CRTLIB. Okay, go ahead, type this. CRTLIB, everybody type this. CRTLIB, create library. Okay, now this one requires parameters, right? Try pressing an enter. Go ahead, hit enter. What does it do?
You need to create a library.
Exactly. It takes you to the prompt and highlights that box in green and said, dude, you made a mistake. I need parameters. Okay. Now F3 out of here. And now type the same command again, CRTLIB. This time press F4. What does it do? It doesn't highlight the first box in green, right? Because you did not make any errors yet. Does everybody follow that? Okay, so if you error on the required parameters, it will redirect you to the correct prompt telling you I need parameters. And these are the parameters that you missed because the other 2 are filled. Okay, now let's all create a library. Why don't you use your first name and type a library name, okay, followed by some number, like 1, for example. Let's all do your first name 1, like Chris 1, Brian 1, Jack 1, Desmond 1, Ethan 1, just, you know, your first name and 1, and then hit enter. What does it do? Does it take you back to the main menu? And what does it shows in the bottom, at the bottom?
That's the library you created.
Exactly. So if the command goes in successfully, the system will notify you in that spot that whatever you were trying to do went through. Okay. Now I am putting in a library, right? Watch my screen. It tells me something else. What does it tell me? What you are trying to do already exists. Okay, so if a library already exists, it will tell you. That's why I did not create one for you, because you already have somebody with that name. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay.
Yes.
Now, notice what it did to me. For you guys, it's different, right? It put the same command there, and it put lib outside, and in the parentheses, it gave me Saad 1 as my name, right? So lib is called keyword. And what I see in the parentheses is the value, okay? Now, what I would like you guys to do is on your command prompt, type CRT-LIB and then put LIB and parentheses. And instead of your first name and number 1, put your first name and a number 2. So type that whole command. And when you press enter, does it tell you that it just went through? It notifies you the same way. So we learned 2 ways of doing the same thing. One, you type everything, but you also mention the keyword and it goes through. Or you do not want to remember the keywords, so you just type the command and hit F4, and it takes you to a place where you can fill in the blank, and it will do the job for you. So those 2 ways. Now, do this. Change that to a 3. Come a little bit over. And type the word type, parentheses, asterisk, PROD, that I'm creating a production library called whatever your name, number 3, and hit enter. And it will go through as well. So now you provided 2 keywords, and each keyword had a value. Okay. Now, let's change their sequence around. Delete this part. Oops. Oh, by the way, one more thing I want to teach you guys. See, I went too far, very close to CRT-LIB. My type is next to it. If I hit a space bar, it will delete it. So on your keyboard, you have insert keys. If I press insert key, look at my cursor, it changed it into a box. Now, if I hit a space bar, it will not overwrite. So by default, the command line overwrites. If you want to stop overwriting, you press the insert key, and then you can turn it off by pressing on it again. Okay, let me switch around. Library, my name, and the number. It's not case sensitive, so I just wrote in all lowercase, perfectly fine. And try to hit enter after that. This one should also go through. Even though you changed the sequence, but since you mentioned with each one of them the keyword, it knows exactly this value goes in which box. Which box this value goes in, it knows that. So how many libraries have we created? 4, right? So we have your first name 1, your first name 2, your first name 3, your first name 4. You have 4 libraries. Okay. Now, press F9. Delete the word type. Delete the parentheses around production. Delete the word LIB and the parentheses around your first name number 4. Replace the number 4 with number 5. So I dropped the keyword, I dropped the parentheses. Now run it. What is this? Did it create that for you? No, it will not, because this is how the system is thinking. When you do not provide keyword, it is thinking that asterisk production has to be the name and Saad 5 has to be the type. But how can a library be there with an asterisk as in the first place? And how can there be a type which is unknown? It only knows 2 types, test and production. So it yells back and said, by the way, production for parameter library is not even a valid name. I don't even have to go any further. What is the difference between the 2 approaches? The first approach is keyword. The second approach is positional. Positional approach will fail if you do not follow this correct sequence of the parameters. Okay, now let's change things around. Let's leave it positional. Let's delete the asterisk product. Let's leave the library name where it is. Let's put asterisk prod after. Okay, and then hit enter. Does this works now? Okay,
Yes.
it will go through because now you provided them in the correct sequence, even though they were not around a keyword. So what does that tell you? You're always better off using, type the command, press F4, let the system take care of it. Don't bother with keywords and positional until and unless you're a programmer and you have to write a script. Then go and see the correct sequence and then work accordingly. Does that make sense to you guys? Keyword versus positional? Everybody's okay with that? Okay. Brian? Good, good, okay. Chris?
Yeah.
I only created two.
Say it again?
I only created two libraries. It wouldn't let me create more.
Oh, you want to create more? Okay. By the way, you know, I can say that sentence differently too. I can say, I created libraries 2. Now, okay, it's easy.
I'm confused.
There are two kind of twos in English, TWO and TOO. So I'm just telling you, I also created libraries. I created libraries 2. Okay, so you
No,
press.
I was
Successfully
saying-
created 2 of the 5 libraries.
I know, I'm just kidding. Okay, so now what you do is, Cornelius, press F9. Read me what command do you see on your prompt. When you press F9.
Okay. It says create library number 2.
Okay, now let's do this. Let's make it a little bit easier. Why don't you share your screen and I will walk you through a few things. And that way you'll be able to do it and I'll be able to see what you're doing. And then if you're making a mistake, I'll be able to direct you accordingly. And it will be a little bit of a review for everybody too, or if anybody else is also falling behind, we'll be able to catch up. So share your screen.
I can't. I gotta like log back onto through the computer. I'm on my phone.
Oh, so okay, so you created all those. Oh, okay, your Zoom is on the phone and you're doing it on the computer. Okay. So let me
Okay, I just created all 5. So what do I do now?
Okay, let me walk you through. Okay, so what you do is you created 2 of them, right? So I created a third one by typing create library. Okay. And then you type the word lib and you type.
My bad. I just changed the number at the end.
Yes, you just changed the number in the end.
Okay, I did. I created 5 of them.
Oh, awesome. Okay, cool. Good enough. Okay. Now, guys,
I'm sorry, I just had one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Weren't we supposed to create like a production library or something like that?
All the libraries that I created are production.
Okay.
So when you do not mention it, it automatically creates a production library.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. So what's wrong with the second command on slide 19?
Before the prompt or the test.
Exactly. So the parameter is in the wrong place because of the positional notation. We did not mention the keyword. let's get to our next topic here, which talks about how do you go about locating commands? Which command do we use to work with menus? If I want to open a menu,
Go.
go. Okay, go. There is one menu that is created as a master menu to all the commands. Okay. IBM calls it major. That's the name of it, major. So you type go space major and you press enter. That's on page 54 in figure 2.7. That's your major looks like. Page 54, figure 2.7. Major is your one-stop shop for all your menu needs. Okay, now if I tell you, I am looking for a command to work with users. So users is a subject or a verb?
The subject.
Subject. So I will right away choose option number 3 and hit enter. Go ahead, put option 3 and hit enter. Okay. Now page down till you can see the letter U. And you're like, oh, number 373 is where all the user commands are. Any command to do with user, 373. Okay, now that's one way to locate it. That if you know the subject, you go to major, you go to the subject, you keep page down till you find the subject, and you're like, okay, let me enter 373. Let's enter 373 and hit enter. And we are now looking at all the user commands. That's what it says at the top, user commands. Okay.
I'm not there where you guys are.
Where are you?
Subject commands.
Okay, on that, on the subject command, are you, okay, so I went to go major. So did you choose option 3 from this list?
Okay, just click on it.
Say that again?
Click on it or just type the number 3 and then press enter.
No, are you on the same screen as I am right now?
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm looking for a subject, I go to the subject command. So I choose option 3 and hit enter. So now I can see all the subjects.
Okay.
The subject that I am looking for is users, which is in the letter U category, and all the commands are alphabetically organized. So I got to page down till I go to the U, the letter U, and that's where I will be able to locate the user commands. And that was 373. That was the number.
How did you scroll down?
I just hit the page down key on the keyboard.
Oh, it's not working for me.
You can also use the scroll wheel on your mouse.
Okay.
Don't have a mouse. I'm on a laptop.
Oh. Marcella, did your cat eat his mouse?
No,
Okay, okay.
but for Cornelius, I don't know if you could try with like scrolling 2 fingers on the mouse pad of your laptop.
Oh,
That's how I did.
Like this. Did that work, Cornelius?
Oh yeah, it did.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Sorry,
Thank-
what
Yeah.
was the command for go major? I couldn't figure out what the 3 words were and I missed it.
Oh, so we went to go major, and then we went to subject, and then we
Well, that's what I'm saying. I can't figure out how to go to major
Oh.
unless
Oh, you basically go to the command prompt and at the bottom type go space major.
oh, it's space. That's why I couldn't figure it out. Okay. I thought it was like GOMJR and I'm like, what is it?
Now, so the menus will have names, and you will just separate go and the space and the name of the menu. Okay.
Okay.
So let's all go back to the main menu. And if I know that user is a subject, I can directly go to the subject menu as well. I can type go space subject and hit enter. Go space subject and hit enter, and I can see all the subjects. I don't have to go to major and then go to subject. Okay, now let's F3 out of here, back to the main menu. The word work, W-O-R-K, work, is that a noun or a verb?
It's a verb.
It's a verb, right? So if I want to look for any command that has to do with the verb work, I will just type go verb, enter. Now it'll give me all the verbs. I can page down or scroll down, mouse wheel down, however, and go to the W commands, and that's the 86. So there were close to 400 some subjects, right? And there are 86 verbs. So now when I go to option 86, any subject that has a work command will be listed here. So if I want to work with an object, I want to see all the work commands. What kind of objects can I work with? So here is a work with TCP/IP, work with active job, work with alerts. All the commands are listed. And then I can page down and I can see that there are like 232 objects that can work with the verb work. So if I want to, let's say, work with system status, that's option 215. I type 215 and it just takes me to the next screen, whatever it is. And then I can work my way. So the bottom line is there are two easiest ways to locate a command, by verb and by subject. So if you want to locate by verb, you go space verb. If you want to locate by subject, go space subject. Is there everybody clear about this? Okay. Now let's look at one more thing. Type go space verb. What is common throughout the right-hand side column?
CMD.
Very good. Okay, even if you go to the next page, you will see CMD all the way through. The first three letters are CMD. Okay, let's F3 out of here. Type go space subject. Look at the right column. What are the first three letters?
CMD.
Okay, now here's the trick. Let's F3 out of here. If I know the shortcuts, how IBM I does shortcuts, what is a shortcut for work?
WRK.
Very good. So I can directly type go space CMD WRK. Try that. Go space CMD WRK, and that will take me to the work commands. All the menu names are CMD followed by a verb or CMD followed by a subject. That's how they're all programmed. So if you know how the names are shortened on the system, you can just work your way like that. Okay, now let's go back to the main menu and type go CMD user. Go space CMD user. It says library not found. So if you mistype a command, it will tell you, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so now if I say, okay, let me shorten it to USR. Here you go. User commands. So if you make a mistake, it will tell you. If there is somebody by that name, it will take you there. Again, does that make sense to everybody? That you can go to the verbs or nouns the long way, or you can just shorten them up, concatenate with the CMD and go there. Okay, let me ask you a question. If I want to look at all the library commands, what should I type? Go.
Major.
No. I want the actual menu name. I want to see all the library commands.
Go LIB.
What are
EMD
the
LIB.
LIB,
what are the first three letters for all the menus?
CMD,
CMD,
LIB.
LIB. Okay, try that. Go space CMD LIB, enter. Okay.
Go space what?
Go space CMD LIB. CMD is always the first three letters for all the library names. Well, sorry, for all the menu names, and which are command menus or verb menus or subject menus, followed by the short form for subject or short form for verb. Okay, what's short for copy? Copy.
CPY.
CPY. Okay, so if I want to look for if there is a menu for copy commands, what should I type?
CMD CPY.
Give me the whole command. What is the command?
Go.
Go space. What's the parameter?
CMD.
CMD.
CPY. Okay, let's see. Hit enter. Boom. Here you go. These are all the copy commands. Okay, so this is how you can go about utilizing these things. Message, is message a verb or a noun? Or
Could be either.
okay, now it doesn't matter what it is. It could be either, right? However, I know that the sequence of calling a menu is go space CMD. What is the short for message? MSG. Try that. Go space CMD MSG. Everybody try that. Go space CMD MSG. Enter. You see all the message commands. Okay, let's try one more. What is display? Short for display.
DSP.
DSP. Try to go to the display menu. Go space CMD DSP, right? And that will take you to all the display commands. So I typed go space CMD out. So it took me, oh, there are only two commands for out. One is check out object and the other one is eject emulation output. So those are the only two commands for out. So some categories will not have a lot of commands, okay?
Is it possible to make your own commands, or is that just not a tool that we have?
You can make your own menus. And you can make your own programs, but you cannot, but you can make up the system commands. And we will learn in this course how you can make your own menus. Then you will be able to say go, and then you can type your menu name, and then it will take you to the menu. Okay. Any questions this far about menus, how to go and look for a command, how these
in fact-
menus are set up?
In fact, I already found out how to make a menu using the command prompt.
Okay, cool, awesome. Now, let's move on to our next topic, which is the library lists. Library lists. You can have up to 15 system libraries, okay? Now, before we go over this, again, go back to the green screen, and on the green screen, display your library list. What command should I type?
DSPLIBL.
Yep, go ahead, type that command. DSPLIBL. Visually, can you tell which libraries are system libraries?
Yes.
Yes. Second column under type, right? Can you tell which library is your current library?
Yes.
It says CUR next to the library. Brian, are you there?
I typed in go DSP.
No. It's a command. It's not a menu. So just type DSPLIBL.
Oh.
Okay. See, that's another benefit of your cameras being on. I could see those question marks on your faces.
Yeah, I'm there.
So that helps, I mean, otherwise, you probably be lost and I wouldn't even know.
I wasn't looking what you were typing. I was just doing it on my own, but I typed in go first.
Okay. So goes are only for menus. So now over here in the middle column, you can see that right now I have 5 system libraries. I have 1 current library and 1 user library. That's how it is right now for me. Okay. Now, if we go back to our PowerPoint, it tells us that you can have up to 15 system libraries. You can have none, 1 or 2 production libraries. Now, production libraries only come on the fly. When I am running my program, production library will be created only for the sake of the program to run. When the program finishes executing, the production library just ends. Okay. I can have 1 and only 1 current library. And I can have up to 250 user libraries. Okay. So typically, I can have around 266 libraries maximum, plus 2 production libraries. And that's a lot of libraries. You would not hit 250 libraries. Like you're not working with 250 different libraries at the same time. That doesn't mean that you can only have 250 libraries. You can have millions of libraries, but at any given time, your library list can only display 250 of them. Okay, so can I access a library that is not in my library list? Yes. If you provide a qualified name, you can even access those libraries that are not in your library list, provided you have access to them. Okay, so that's the bottom line. Library list is there only to check for unqualified searches. Otherwise, if you have access to it, doesn't matter if it's in your library list or not, it will just go there. Okay. So here it talks about that QSys contains essential system objects, such as system programs and commands. Sys2 contains additional system programs, and help sys contains help information, and user sys contains the objects that are needed for various system functions, as well as the message queues, user message queues for holding messages. So these are some of these libraries that are shipped with the operating system. Okay. Now moving on to production library, as I told you, it only comes into place when the program is running and then it's destroyed, it's removed. Current library is where all your objects go by default. And other than that, you can have up to 250 other user libraries. You may be the author of them, or somebody created them and gave you right of access to them. Doesn't matter. Okay. Now, before we go any, before I go towards the close out for this chapter, I want to take you back into chapter 3, where we want to practice some commands. Okay, how many libraries did we create?
You're like 5.
5, right? Okay. Now, if you go to page number 91. Page 91, which is figure 3.7. Page 91, figure 3.7. What is the command that you see on that page?
Add library list entry.
Add library list entry. That command is specially designed to add those libraries that you own, but they are not in your library list. Remember, I asked you that you created 5 libraries, right? But if you look at your library list, type DSP LIBL, type that command. And you will see that none of those 5 libraries show here anymore, like, because they're there, but they're not in your list yet, okay? To make them appear in your list, you got to type this command. What's on page 91? What's the command? Add library list entry, okay? And then you hit enter. Hit enter. Okay. Now it is asking you, okay, which library are you interested in adding? Put your first name and 1. Remember, that was the first one we created, okay? And hit enter. What does it tell you?
Library is that in library list?
Okay, now try the display library list command again. Can you see that library in the list now? Okay.
How did you add it? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, I use the command on page 91, add library list entry. Add
Where do you put that? Do you go back to the main menu or is it right on the display library list?
No, are you talking about the add library list entry command?
Yes.
All the commands go on the prompt. So if you have a prompt showing at the bottom, you just type add library list entry and then hit enter.
What do you mean prompt?
I mean the command line. Do you see those?
Oh, do I go back to the main spot?
Yeah, he's been going back to the main
Yeah.
menu. Every
Oh,
time
yeah,
we
my-
enter in something,
Alright,
we
so-
go F3 and go back to the main menu and then enter it.
Yep. So add library list entry is on the command, on the selection command area, and then hit enter. And then you will see this screen, the one that you see on my screen.
Yeah.
And then in the where it says a library, type the name, your first name and number 1, because that was the first library you created, and press enter. And it should tell you that the following library was added to your library list.
It did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now you should type the command display library list on the command prompt at the bottom, and then hit enter, and it should now show you your command. Yeah, I mean, like your library as a user library. It should say USR next to it. Okay. Now hit F3. Come out of this. Now press F9 2 times maybe, or however many number of times, still you can see what you see on my command selection at the bottom. Now go down to the number 1 and change it to number 2 and hit enter. It will tell you that the second one was also added. Okay, now hit F9 and put number 3. If you had, I mean, I don't have. You guys should have. And then number 4. And then number 5. So add all of them. Typically, people will not add so many libraries in one shot, but I'm just showing you as an example. Usually people would add just 1 library. If that's so many libraries to add, they would rather write a script to do that for them. Okay. Now, once these libraries are added, how can you see these libraries again?
Display library.
Display library list. Okay. Here you are, all your libraries added. Okay. Now I want you to go to page number 93. Figure 3.9. What command? What is the command? On page 93, figure 3.9.
Change library list.
Okay, so can you see at the top of the screen, it tells you what command you type to get that far? The whole purpose of change library list is to change the listing of your library as to which libraries you want to display first, which libraries you want to display second, and so on and so forth. So hit F3. So when you are back on your main menu, right at the bottom, you type that command, chg libl, change library list, and hit enter. Did it do anything?
Nope.
No. How about if I press F4? Type the same command again, but this time press F4. Because when you just hit enter, what it does, it just runs the way it is right now. Okay. Now it shows you that libraries are in this order right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the order. Okay. Now let me go to the very first one, which is my first name 5, and let me make it 1 and press enter. What does it tells me? 5 is gone. I have 1 twice. Okay, now let's display the library list. So what happens? Did it really do that duplicate? No, it wouldn't. It would not let you have the same library twice. Each library can only be listed once. Okay. So how can I go about changing the sequence of the libraries? The better option is page number 95. Page number 95 and page number 94 tells you what command is that in the heading at the bottom of page 94. Page 95, figure 3.11. What is the command?
EDTLIBL.
Very good. EDTLIBL. Edit library list. Type that command and hit enter. That's from page number 94 and 95. Enter. Okay. Now, if I want my first library to come at the top of the list, then I need to first of all go next to it. It is 40 for me, maybe 50 for you guys. Whatever is the case, doesn't matter. I want it to go at the top of the list. So I have to put in a number that is less than 10, but greater than 0. Any number between 0 and 10.
7.
Any number. You go ahead and put any number that is less than 10, greater than 0, and you hit enter. And you will see that it automatically resequences.
How did you get to the screen? I'm sorry, I fell behind again. Yes.
Say it again.
How did you get to the screen?
Oh, it's the command from page 94. It is EDTLIBL. Edit library list, page 94.
Page 94.
EDTLIBL. Did you find it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So now when you are there, if you want to change the sequence around for any one of them, all you need to do is, for example, if I want library number 2 to go on the second position. So what number should I enter next to library number 2? I mean, like 11, for example. So any number between 10 and 20, 11, for example, and that will make it push up to the second spot. Okay. Now, you guys try to move a couple libraries around yourself. Yes,
So
Mhm.
what would be the purpose of moving these libraries in different orders?
One of the reason is that when you're doing an unqualified search, you want certain libraries to be searched before others. And whenever you are done with this, just hit F3 and come out of it. There's one more command I want to try with you guys. It's not in the book as detailed. There's only a mention of that command in the book on page number 92, right below figure 3.8. On page 92, right below figure 3.8. Can anybody identify what command is that? That's in bold.
Remove library.
Remove what?
Exactly. So remove library list entry is just the opposite of add library list entry. So if I am done with a library and I do not want the library to be in my library list anymore, I can type this command. Let's all go ahead and type this command. RMV for remove, LIB for library, and LE for list entry. And then hit enter. It right away tells me, now anytime you see a green thingy, it means that the system is sort of kind of yelling back saying you forgot the parameter. Okay. Now let's say if I want my first initial, sorry, my first name number 5 to be removed from the library list, I hit enter. And it comes back and tells me that the following library has been removed. Now check your library list. Again, how do you check your library list?
ESP-LIBL.
Very good. And you will not see that library anymore in there, but that doesn't mean it's deleted. It's still there. You can always add it back. It's just like not showing in your library list. Let's try to add this back. How do I add it back?
ADD-LIBLE.
Very good. Add library list entry, the command from page 91. And then I can hit a space bar and type my first name number 5. I'm using positional notations. I'm not using keyword notation, and I hit enter. So add LIBLE space, the name of the library I want to add, and hit enter. It says the following library is added to the list. I check the library list again, and here I go. Here you go. You can see the library again added to the top. Okay. Okay. Remove it again. Let's see if you can remove it yourself. Remove the library number 5 from the list and then check to see if it has been removed.
You said RIB?
Say that again.
Oh, what was the thing again? The prompt?
Remove library list command. Check page number 92. Towards the bottom. Did you find it?
Look. I found it.
Okay, cool. It's RMVLIBLE. Remove library list. Okay, how's everybody doing so far with this stuff?
Re-added, reordered, and ready to go.
Cool. So it's just the more you work with it, the more familiar you will be with this stuff.
It's a lot easier doing it than reading it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, you know, when you read stuff, you're looking for terminologies, processes, communication skills of the ideas that you're learning. Because at some point in time, if you have to communicate this with somebody, you will have words. So that's why reading is important. But once you get hang of it, you probably will read less and do more. Okay. Now, in your books, go to page 64 and read all 7 of these bullet points, A through G. Page number 63.
Where for Kindle?
63. It will be under the title Objects Within Libraries. It's a very last thing before the summary of chapter 2. Any questions about any of these bullet points? Those who love to read and those who don't, everybody's okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Edge isn't protected.
say it again.
Edge isn't protected. Isn't that just Edge?
Yes, it's just Edge because I did not install Norton products on my Edge. So, yeah. Now look at the chapter summary at the bottom of page 64 and 65, and in Kindle, it's right at the end of the chapter before the key terms.
I'm sorry, what page was that again?
Page number 64 and 65. Okay. Any questions? So on Blackboard, let me mention to you guys a few things. Okay. At the end of the class, when the stuff is done rendering and I'm done uploading, right at the top, this link will be available, which will be the class recording. Okay. And you have to watch it because I am so nice coming out of the computer. Anyway, so, and then what else I did for you guys is this. I created some video tutorials. If you click on this video tutorials link, I created the breakdown videos. If you want to watch individual videos, you can actually do that as well. So that will be a good way for you to refresh how to create a library, how to work with libraries, how to access the system, how to add a library to the library list entry, how to edit a library list, how to remove a library, how to change a current library, all of that commands, okay? And then if you go even further down, I have created this document for you guys. If you click on work with libraries link, it is a PDF document. So what I did, I have put together a document in which I'm telling you which pages in the book have these commands so that you don't have to go through the pages in the book. Also, what else I did here is I took screenshots of me doing those in picture form. So you type this command, then you press F4, then this screen shows up. This is where you enter a name. It shouldn't be more than 10 characters long. And then you press enter. library is created. Okay. To add a library, you type the command, add library list entry, you press F4, you type the name of the library, and that library shows up after it gives you this message. Check your library list to make sure the library is in your library list. Okay. So here the library is in the library list. Then I showed you how to work with the edit library list, how to move those numbers around to change the sequencing and change you that the sequence has been changed, and display the library list to notice the sequencing have been changed. Similarly, how to change your current library. I didn't let you do that here because sometimes students forget to change it back and their whole thing is messed up. Okay, so change current library command can be used to change your current library with a different library. And then you can display the library list to see that your library is being changed. And then I'm basically also added the step to change it back. And then how to remove a library. So all of those examples that we did in class, they're available to you. They will be available to you in the full class video form. They're available to you in smaller bits and chunks by topic. And they're also available to you in a document form. So however you want to learn, I have given you multiple ways. And my only thing is, please review this during the week so that when you come back next week, it's not lost. Okay? And then this week you have an assignment and a quiz as well. So look at the assignment questions. And let me know if you have any questions about any of the questions.
Are the quizzes open note or book?
Yeah. You know, I may sound mean, but I'm not mean.
Assignments are due Friday midnight, correct?
Yes, technically they are, but on case by case basis, I do sometimes, you know, extend them a little bit. So I will, in fact, for this one, I forgot to change the date. Let me change this to the correct date, which will be the 30th of next week. So yeah.
So for the creating a library on the assignment, you want us to take like a picture or snippet and for each of those, or to see show how we did it, or
No. Are you talking about question number 3?
no, like it says add a library to the list and all that. Do you want us to just like take pictures of it, of us doing it, or
Which activity are you talking about?
on the bottom? Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. I thought you wanted us to like do it.
No.
on the thing and take pictures.
Which
Never mind.
all I want you to do is just give me the commands. That's about it. Which CL command is used for each one of the following operations? So next to the operation, you just give me the command. Okay. But at your own time, during the week, practice some of the stuff with hands-on stuff too. And that's what basically I'm asking you guys to do. Just do a little practice on your own by creating libraries, adding them, removing them, changing their sequence, just little stuff like that. Okay. Any other question about anything else? There are a couple of people that wanted to stay back and needed to talk to me about something. Is anybody else having any other concerns or questions and they want to stay back or need an extension on any of the assignments? So you need to coordinate with me because unfortunately, some people are not on top of that, which is a little disappointing. So only half of the people turn in their assignment 1, which is due by midnight tonight. And quiz is even in a worse limbo. So that's why I wanted to check to see if you guys take off, if anybody needs any additional days to do the week 1 stuff.
I just would like to know where to find the week 1 stuff.
Week 1 stuff will be, sorry, no, not week 1, unit 2. Unit 2 is where I started giving the assignments. Your very first assignment came out in unit 2.
Gotcha.
Unit 1 has
Okay.
no assignment, and your very first quiz is also in unit 2.
Gotcha. That's where I was confused. All right.
Okay. So does anyone over here needs more time than tonight?
I'm good. I got it in. I'm not sure I did everything right, but I got it in.
Okay. Marcella, is that you need more time?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Just one more day.
Just one more day. Does anybody needs more than a day?
No, I should be able to get it in tonight.
All good.
You know what? To make it easy on everybody, let's do it till Sunday midnight, just in case if
That's
something
perfect.
comes up.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
really good.
you
Thank
have an
you.
extra day. So let me do both activities like that. So let me change the quiz due date to the 25th. And let me change, I think I already changed the assignment due date, but let me double check. And assignment due date is already changed to Sunday. So everybody has 2 extra days to get things done.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful.
No problem. As I said, you know, you guys need to communicate with me. If you ever, in any of the classes that I teach, I cannot speak for other faculty members. In any of the classes that I teach ever in the program, if you are at a place where you said, I need some more time, that's fine with me, because I am so happy that people are willing to work. What upsets me is when people are not willing to work and they come to me in week 14 and asking me, how can I pass the course when they're sitting at 25%? So as long as you're willing to work in a timely fashion, I'm more than happy to extend things for you.
I really appreciate that. Like especially in my case, I got my textbook yesterday because I was having a lot of difficulties actually getting the book.
I still don't have my textbook. I'm still waiting for it to come in.
Okay, so Aiden, you think that you won't be able to complete this in timely fashion, but here's the thing. Chapter 1 is available to you for free on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so go to Amazon, type the name of the book. Let me show you once again, just in case, if you go to Amazon.com and you type, let's say, Jim Buck, the author of the book, okay? And here is the book, Mastering IBM. You open the book and you click on look inside, and you can, the first chapter is right there, the whole first chapter.
That doesn't help with question 2 of the first assignment, though. Question 2 is in chapter 3.
Oh, okay. So at least complete partially. And when your book arrives, you can complete the other part. Let me know. I will reopen it for you and then you can turn it in.
Okay, yeah. All right, that sounds good.
Okay, so at least do the part that you can do.
Sure to check out the acknowledgements in the book.
Say again?
Be sure to check out the acknowledgements in the book. I see someone's name in there that looks very familiar.
Really?
I saw that too.
Couldn't imagine who it could be.
No, I wouldn't. I think it's an old teacher here.
I don't believe it. People don't write books and be teachers. That's not possible.
Oh no, Jim Buck was a
He wrote it.
Was a fact.
That's also not possible. It's a lie.
Yeah, he retired in 2017 from Gateway. So yeah.
There you go.
Oh, you mentioned my name there.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's like you got some credit there.
Listen to that humble brag, like you didn't know your name was Andrew.
It totally was a humble brag.
So
He's blushing right now. Look at him. He's blushing. Right. Why are you blushing, man?
I totally forgot. He probably might have mentioned it to me when he first wrote it, because I did help him out with a few things, but that's okay. No big deal.
That's
You
awesome.
probably gave him notes from half of that book, man. He probably be like, yeah, man, you're saying it wrong here. This is how you say it.
I'll give him credit, but all the proceeds go to me.
There you go.
No. Anyway, so yeah, so that's about it. So those of you who need to stay longer, I'm here to talk to you guys. And for the rest of you, have a great weekend. Keep working hard, and I'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Deuces.
Alrighty, have a good weekend. Thanks.
You too.
Sounds good. Have a
Bye.
good weekend.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. So Jack is here. Jack left. Oh, Jack is here. Jack is.
I just had a quick question. Like, is there a correct way to sign out of 5250 and the Cloud Web Connect?
There is no particular way, but what you can do is you can come back to the main menu and type 90 for sign off, and then hit enter, and it signs you out. And then you can close the window, and it asks you, would you like to save session config? Say no. And then you can close the window, and then you can simply close the tab of the browser tab to come out of V2 Cloud.
All right, I was just making sure I didn't want to
Yeah.
mess anything up.
That's fine. Cool. No problem.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My question was, I just have one question on my homework. I mean, my work assignment from school. Let me share my screen.
Oh yeah, sure. Let me stop sharing. So yep, go ahead, share your screen.
How do you do that again? I don't know why I have trouble sharing screen, and it should be easy. Is it right through Zoom?
It's
Oh, I got it. Share screen. This one. And then share.
okay.
So, you seen this?
Oh, right now I see your IBM screen.
You see my IBM screen? Oh,
Yeah.
let me flip it
I
back.
was seeing your visual.
Yeah, I got
yeah.
I got
Okay.
multiple monitors. That's
Yeah,
monitors.
cool.
That's why.
Now I can see your Visual Studio screen. Okay.
So I copied exactly how she wanted to be done, but then I can't get rid of that little red thing at the
Okay.
end there.
Now can you go any further down? Can you scroll down for me? Okay, that's a problem. If you scroll back up,
Uh-huh.
okay, all the way to the top. Okay. Now notice on lines 12, 14, and 16, you have 3 curly braces that you're opening. You need to close 3 of them down below at the bottom. Yeah, right there. Line 40. You got to put 1 close, enter, put the other close, enter, put the 3rd close.
So like that?
Yeah, but only the closing one. The opening one is already there at the top.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, enter, hit enter, close another one. Hit enter and close another one. See, that's it.
Wow. I was dying though. I don't know what to do.
Okay.
That's all I needed. I just didn't know how to get rid of it.
That's it. So usually what happens is that anytime you put a curly brace, it puts a pair, the closing one. Never delete that. Just leave it there. Just write your code in between.
Okay, I got you. I see what you said. All right, thank you. Definitely appreciate that. Like I had no idea what to do. I was getting frustrated because I couldn't.
No
move on
problem.
from there.
No problem. I'm glad I could help.
All right, sir. Well, you have a good night and thanks again. Let me see how
You
it-
too. Take care.
When you were doing the positional notation and the keyword notation stuff,
Yes.
I was having to figure out dinner for my kid sister.
Oh,
So
okay.
I kind of missed that. So I was wondering if you could go over it again briefly.
Sure. Okay, that's fine. Let me log in again.
Sorry, I'm trying to leave, guys. I want to leave. Give you guys.
Oh, you don't want to stay. Just think of it as review, man.
I know, man. I should just stay and stick around because I was like lost a little bit there too, but it wasn't too bad.
Leaves in the bottom right, Desmond.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
All right, man. You
look,
guys take care.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, I was sorry. I was trying to get it done during the break, but she didn't know what she wanted. And then she came down when you were talking about that stuff, asking, could I have this instead? And I had to go find it for her quick. And I was like kind of in and out of the room with just the sound coming in through my speakers, trying to hear what was going on and do it at the same time while getting her food ready.
It's okay. It happens. How old is she?
She's 14.
Okay. Yeah. I have a 15-year-old daughter. So anyway, so what I was basically telling people was that when you are creating a library has some required parameters. So when you put in a required parameters, there are two ways to do it.
Okay.
One is called keyword and one is called positional. Keyword is that with every parameter, which is an extra value that you provide, you write the name of the parameter, and then you also list the value.
Okay.
You provide the name of the parameter and you list the value. And then when you run it, it will be able to know which parameter's value you provided, and it'll be able to do that for you. And it will even do it for you if you change the sequence around. So for example, if I list type first and I do library after.
Okay, yeah, that's where I came back and I was like, I feel like I missed something. Okay.
It can do that for you because you have provided the
So as
keyword.
long as the parameters don't have to specifically be in an order, it's just as long as both parameters are listed, then it's fine.
If it is keyword.
Yes, keyword.
But if it is positional, then the system gets confused as to who is who and errors out.
Okay. So positional is then
in positional, it is the programmer's job to remember which parameter should be listed first, which parameter should be listed second, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Okay, with keyword, since you're mentioning the keyword, you can write them in any sequence as long as you put the keyword with the correct value.
Okay. So basically, keyword's always superior.
Keyword is always more structured.
Yeah.
And positional is more like by memory. You know, I mean, like, since I've used this command so many times, I know exactly in what sequence the parameters go.
Okay. That's all I need. Thank you very much.
No problem. No problem.
All right. Have a good weekend.
You too. Take care.
All right. Yep. Bye.
Bye.